Okay, so today I wanted to discuss the difference between periods of low mood, unhappiness, and depression. I feel that there's a belief with some people that if they suffer from low moods from time to time, or if they feel unhappy at any period of time, that they suffer from depression. That it's unacceptable to have low moods regardless of situation, or without any prior particular reason for having a low mood. I think it's healthy to have ups and downs in mood. I think it gives you a great understanding of context in life. You can appreciate happiness much more if you've had if you've had sadness. I think that it is too easy to brand too many things as depression, and it really dilutes the problem with people that genuinely suffer from a condition that is very debilitating and restricts you from really having ups and downs and moods. I mean, obviously, bipolar aside, but that's a completely separate problem to the kind of depression I'm talking about. The one I'm trying to attack here is the idea of just a long, drawn out period of time of low mood and an inability to feel happiness or care about anything that you're doing particularly, or really be interested in any things you used to like, anything that you really want to partake in, anything that you want to advance and grow in your life is been put on hold by an unknown blanket of misery, essentially. But I think that much like learning disabilities, there is too wide a bracket for the amount of people that want to be put into this label under this box of someone suffering from depression on the basis that it's saleable. I think that if you market yourself to this group, you feel more comfortable because you're in a group, and that's the habit of common society to label and group yourself with things. I mean, that's a much bigger problem. But I think on a more simple note is that, you become a tool in which to be sold things to. If you're dealing with unhappiness constantly, you see it as a major problem. If you label it with depression and you give it a name, you're more likely to be able to consume things. You're more likely to want to find avenues in which to relieve this unacceptable unhappiness, to reach contentment and the media image of what should be a healthy, sustained lifestyle. I think this is why cases of depression have gone through the roof medically, or actual recorded cases of depression, because more people are labeling themselves as such for perhaps unnecessary reasons, or convincing themselves into depression. I know it sounds strange, but I think this links to what I said in my previous video about understanding your unique relationship with depression. If you look inwards to yourself and see what is causing you to be unhappy and see what those elements are, if they're commercial and material things, you know that they're ungrounded, you know they're unreasonable, and you can start to forget about those things. If you really stop and spend time and reflect what is causing constant unhappiness for you, and it might sound difficult because people say, oh, well, I just don't care when I'm depressed. It's like, there is a bit of you that cares. There is something that is often wrong that can be used as a foothold in which to deal with the situation. And other people might argue that it's just constantly chemical and that's why you feel down in that way. But even when you think of it that way, there is a reason for those things. Like I said before, if you follow the physical steps towards avoiding depression, such as a healthy lifestyle, exercise, and the common suggestions to sidestep depression, when you follow those chemicals become in balance again. They do balance themselves out if you're a healthy human being, and more people are that than aren't. And I think that people often don't try all these things before thinking they've given up. And I think that you really need to be honest with yourself and not worry about how you'll be judged, not worried about how you'll feel for being perhaps maybe unreasonable with your expectations with all these things, because you're very much in a world now where you're given mixed messages all the time, and you just need to be honest with yourself more than anything else, because the world isn't necessarily honest with you. So that is basically the message I'm trying to convey, is that there is a massive difference between sadness and periods of unhappiness and depression, but understanding where you sit on that scale is the important thing, rather than getting lost in this miasma of uncertainty related to approaches to depression.